Okay, so I just finished the Pilates, my at-home Pilates. Ooh, it's so bright. Yeah, so I just did the Pilates. I think I've tagged Bree before, who I do these classes with. She does them virtually, but it's not on a platform, like they're live on Zoom. As you can see, I'm very red in the face. It was a hard class today, but it was good. I'm glad that I did it. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't feeling it, but I did it. But I have updates for you all who I hope you're excited for me. I'm very excited for me. The biggest update is I think I mentioned in one of my recent videos that I was seeing a new doctor, a chiropractor, kinesiologist who also just specializes in like full body function, just your whole body working together in fluidity, which has been something I've been wanting to find here in LA because I have a doctor like that in Toronto. If you're in Toronto and you need a doctor like that, let me know and I will tell you my guy. But this doctor here came recommended by a good friend of ours, so I felt more confident going and trying someone new. And he is probably one of the best doctors I've seen in my 17 years of dealing with chronic pain and seeing more doctors than I could ever list. But he was very, very like full body focused and realized that my body is very complicated because of the injuries I've had from my concussion, my hormonal imbalances from endometriosis and adenomyosis, and then my celiac disease, and then some family history of ulcerative colitis and bowel disease. So there's a lot of autoimmune things at play, and just dealing with like the chronic pain and especially these autoimmune flare-ups. He was really patient with listening. He did do a small adjustment and a few different tests on my body in our like intro appointment, which usually intro appointments, like nothing good happens. I'm going to be honest with you. And it was the first time that I left one of those appointments feeling good, which usually I leave those appointments feeling worse. And then I know like the next day I'll feel better. We often call it the healing crisis, where you feel like you're having more symptoms before you start to feel better, which is still definitely a thing, but I would say that it's not something I want to feel all the time. So I actually feel so much better today after seeing him. And as much as I didn't want to do the Pilates, I knew that I needed to get in tune and move in my body, which felt great to be able to do. And also, it's in my living room. I don't have to drive somewhere. I don't have to park or deal with any of that stuff. So very grateful that I was able to do that and feel a little bit better. And I'm just trying to really ride this wave of feeling good. As you know, I'm doing the AIP autoimmune protocol, diet, food. I really need to figure out a better thing to say. I really hate saying diet, but that's what I'm doing. And I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily feeling that much better yet. I think it's a slow thing because it usually does take 4 to 6 weeks for your system to get rid of the toxins that are in there. And that's what I'm committed to. So I'm still going on that. I'm finding a couple different recipes and foods that I like to eat. I'll continue to share them, obviously, and make sure that I give you guys some support if you're doing it. And if you're doing it, please support me as well. Like, we need to be in this together. It's not an easy thing. But I am actually going to, I think, do my hair, which I showed, I think, again, in a recent video. I got my DP Hue semi-permanent like color, so I haven't done that in a couple months actually. I think back in May was the last time I did it. So I feel like it's fall, it's time for an update. I'm gonna go a little bit auburn, a little bit more red in my hair, but it is like this whole thing I have to like wash my hair first, kind of let it air dry a little bit, but like still be wet, do the color, let it sit, then wash it again. So I decided that I'm going to do that before cooking dinner, and then I can do a little bit of work after dinner. Okay, we are set. Look at the color. It's like starting to come in. It definitely looks more auburn when it's like setting versus after I wash it out. I did make a bit of a mess. It's the first time. I've done this so many times. I dropped the bottle on my carpet on the bath mat. So I'm gonna try to spot clean that, but it is dye, so I'm not sure if that's gonna get out or if I just have an excuse to get a cute new bath mat. We'll see. But I'm gonna set the timer for about, I would say 20 minutes is usually all that I do. I don't like to leave it much longer than that. And that usually does actually change the color of my hair. I'm so afraid of sitting anywhere. I'm wearing my dye outfit from my little I Love Hue, my DP Hue shirt. If I didn't mention this, I actually have a code for all of their products. I will put it below and link it. So I've said this before, I've been using DP Hue for 3-4 years. I use their scalp scrub, their Gloss Plus sheer, and then this is also the pigmented Gloss Plus. So if you want to give it a try, use my code and we can have beautiful hair together. But yeah, I'm gonna let it sit, bake it for 20 minutes, and I think I'm gonna read a book. I'm actually scared to sit on anything, so I might just sit at my dining room table because then that way this doesn't touch anything. It's the next day, and as you can see, the hair is done. It is clean washed. I don't know if you can actually tell. I mean, I think you can probably tell the difference of the color. I think it's more maybe for me, it just gives me a little refresh in a way. And then obviously, as you can tell, it's super hydrating for your hair. My hair is just looks great, and I haven't had it cut in almost 2 months. So I feel like that's a pretty good look, but honestly it has to do with the Gloss Plus, whatever DP Hue puts in that, and it just makes your hair literally feels like you left the salon. But I am starving. I don't know if anyone else wakes up so hungry. I was talking to Michael about this. He is more of a lunch dinner person, and I'm a breakfast lunch person. I like dinner, but I just feel like I'm never super hungry at dinner, that I'm oh my gosh, I need to eat so much food. But at breakfast, I'm please, I need to eat so much food. I just wake up hungry. I can't wait to eat. Sometimes I want to have 2 breakfasts. I get so excited. But as you know, breakfast is different, and it's a struggle I've had for a while. So no more eggs, because eggs are a no on the AIP, the protocol, but I am still doing my coconut yogurt. So I've been doing this, and I'll do some raspberry and a peach in the yogurt, and I'll use collagen powder as sort of the protein powder, because you can't technically use a lot of other protein powders. A lot of them are whey protein, which I wouldn't use anyways, but the gluten-free ones are pea protein, and you're not supposed to have peas. So at least the collagen gives a little bit, and I've heard it's also good for headaches. I don't know. Everyone says something's different and something is good for headaches or bad for headaches. You really have to figure out what works for you. But I am going to eat that, and I actually feel like I need to address this kitchen. Right now, it's not really messy, but I have all of my vitamins over here, and it's just not giving a clean kitchen. So I think I need to organize that and find space in our cupboard to put all my vitamins, because I just don't love it. Especially now that I'm filming for YouTube a lot, I'm oh, that's what's in the background. Let me just talk like this. So I might have to do that later today. But first, breakfast time and get ready for a busy day. Let's see what it has in store. And there it is. Look how delicious. I'm gonna have this, my tea, which I'm very excited for. This is one of the books I am reading for the fall. I was joking on Instagram that the fall, September feels like a new year to me just because of being a student. And I was this semester I'm going to focus on manifesting. So I got these 2 new books. This one from Roxy is the second in her Manifest series. I had her first one. I think I've shown you guys. It's orange. It's great. It was actually a gift, and I was sold on it. And then now I bought the second one, which this one is a bit more of a journal. So there's a lot more prompting and like it says manifest in action. It's how to actually take action for your manifestations. And then Amber's You Are a Magnet is something I've had on my list for a while. I follow her on Instagram. I think she's very empowering and inspirational, and I love her approach to how to be a magnet. And so these are my course books, my course load. But I also am contemplating getting Amber's app on Instagram. I think it's Modern Mind. I'll put them below, but I'm constantly getting her app. If anyone watching this has her app or has any like manifestation apps you recommend, please let me know. As you know, I am in my manifesting era, and I did manifest a pair of jeans. I found a pair of jeans that I really wanted. They were expensive. I was very close to buying them, and I was like, you know what, let me do my usual check on the secondhand sites before I purchase. And I found my size and my color on Depop for $100 less than what it would be if I was buying brand new from retail, and they are brand new. Someone wore them, I think, one time. So when I first did this, I didn't realize I actually manifested that, but that is part of manifesting. It's not saying like, oh, I just want everything to fall in my lap for free. It's like you still have to do the work. You have to believe that if it's for you, it will find you. But for me, one of the things is I just didn't want to spend that kind of money on clothes. They are good quality, made in LA, so like made in North America. I understand living wages and paying people fairly. So I from the back end, I completely understand. I just wasn't at a point that I felt like that's what I wanted to spend on a pair of jeans. So finding them for cheaper and in my size and in the color that I wanted is manifestation. And I feel just very excited to see it happening in my life. I have been at my computer for so long, and one bad habit that I have, like a really bad habit I have, is I don't eat when I first start getting hungry. I allow myself to get to this point of like utter devastation of hunger, and so now I'm like a shell of a person because I've been working, and I feel like when I get into a flow, it's really hard to stop working. I've just been doing a lot of computer work. I have a couple side projects on the go. I obviously have Mary Young, which is like, it's a lot of my time, but I do have some side clients I work with, some consulting, and just some other things that I do to try to keep me creative, because it's hard when you're doing the same thing forever. But now I'm eating, and I'm gonna have some bacon and avocado and I think some plantain chips. So another light AIP meal. It's definitely becoming a little bit more easy because I know what I like and what is a good meal and like actually fills me up. So a lot of it ends up being protein. Otherwise, I'm just hungry. So good thing I can have bacon. I like it. I think I showed you that in a recent vlog. But I've switched sides in the kitchen. This is a different side you don't normally see because it's backlit. As you can tell, the lighting gets weird. But now I'm like looking at the vitamins and I'm like, I really got to put those away. So I think after I eat, I'm going to put on a podcast and put some of my vitamins away. I think I tweeted, or maybe I put this on Substack as like a Substack note, but I was just talking about how I love podcasts. I've been into podcasts since Serial came out, and I get excited for a new podcast every single day. I am a podcast content devourer. I love it. So I actually posted like what series, or I guess what podcast show I listen to every single day. And I realized I'm like, I need some more. I love storytelling. I love a little chit chat. I do listen to a lot of true crime. And to be honest, I think the reason why is because it is storytelling. It is critical thinking in some ways. So I do enjoy the true crime for that. But if you have any podcasts that you recommend that you love, that the hosts aren't annoying, because I think sometimes the voices, going back to this like vocal fry, like everyone sounds the same. Like what I was talking about in my creative vlog, when you're in a creative rut, is like, I just want variation. I don't want to hear the exact same thing all the time. So if you have anything you recommend, please let me know, because I gotta clean this counter up. I gotta feel a little bit better. And I also want to put a speaker in this kitchen. I just feel like we listen to music through our TV in our living room, but I feel like I want like music or podcast like in the kitchen, not coming through my phone when I'm cooking. Again, romanticizing cooking. But I'm watching this bacon and it's almost ready. just a light lunch. But then these are the plantain chips. They're from Terra. They are probably the best plantain chips I've ever had, so not too bad. As I mentioned, the no coffee is really hard. But I saw this at the grocery store, and I love Bloom, and I don't know why I just like forgot about Bloom, but I used to buy a lot of their packets, mostly their hot cacao, like it's a reishi mushroom blend, but this is a coffee alternative. There's no caffeine in it, and I need something. I had a matcha this morning. It's not that I don't like matcha, I just love caffeine coffee, the ritual, but maybe this will be my new thing. So I'm gonna make this. It's pretty simple. You mix this with a little bit of boiling water and then add in milk. I think I'm gonna do it hot just because I'm in the mood for a fall drink, even though it's still quite hot in LA, but it'll give me that fall feeling. And then I can drink it while I tackle this ugly shelf. Okay, so let's make this. Powder in here, nice and blue. A splash. Okay, there it is. It's super cute. It's blue. I didn't really realize. I mean, I kind of figured, but let's see how it tastes. It's not bad. Like, it's not gonna taste like coffee. It doesn't even remotely taste like coffee. But it's not bad. It's definitely like a little something, a little pick-me-up. So I'll see how I feel after. This is my fuel to do this. So I have no excuse to not get it done. Okay, look at this. It is so much better, so much more organized. And now everything has like its place. Obviously the bottom shelf is all the vitamins, some snacky, well, pasta, peanuts, more snacks and other things that I don't grab that often. Obviously that's Michael's shelf of other things I make him grab because I can't reach it. But way more organized in there. And then the counter just looks better. It's just more organized, it's cleaner. I'm really happy about that. It feels good. I am having a little bit of a me morning. I have some errands that I've been procrastinating doing. A few are just like groceries and things like that. But I also had to go pick up some prescriptions and just things that I haven't prioritized in the week, which I always wish I would do it during the week once the weekend comes. And then I'm out on a weekend and it's like chaotic in the city because everyone's out. But so be it. So is life. I obviously got myself a matcha because you gotta have a matcha to do your errands. But I'm also going to stop and pick up some yarn. I'm really excited. I have not knitted in a long time, but I saw this vest that I thought was super cute, that I would love, and I'm not gonna buy it. I can knit it. It's like a very simple vest, so I'm gonna go pick up some yarn and work on that over the next little bit. Honestly, it's not going to be like a project that I put a time limit on. I just want to be able to like spend my evenings not on my computer ideally. My headaches have been so bad from just being on my screen. I probably, as you've seen in this vlog, I wear my glasses, which I technically don't need glasses, but the glasses I have are blue screen, so like they're blue screen tinted, which is good for looking at your computer. But I also do have astigmatism, so I only really need to wear them when my eyes are feeling tired, which turns out is all the time when you're on your screen all day long and into the evening. So I've been wearing them more and that's helped, but I would say that I just have like this low grade headache just constantly. So I'm really trying to figure that out. It also might have to do with the heat, even though it's starting to cool down. So, you know, always problem solving, but I thought to get myself off the computer in the evening and just like not wasting time on my phone would be to do something else with my hands, which is knitting and going back to some of the childhood activities I loved. So I am excited to hopefully find some good yarn. I'm always worried when I go to shop for yarn if I'm actually going to find what I'm looking for, or if I'm going to have to go with like plan B or plan C and not really love it, but it'll work. So that's part of the errands, and I think I might pop into Home Goods and just browse around just for some like visual bliss. I realize I don't really buy things for our home. I follow a lot of YouTubers, I watch a lot of YouTubers, and it's like a constant thing. People are constantly like adding vases or artwork or like new throws or new pillows to their home. And I like the concept of that, but I also just don't understand how practical or realistic that is. And maybe it's something I need to like get my head around. But if you're someone who is like, I would say like not constantly, but occasionally, once or twice a year, changing things out in your home, let me know what your approach is to that. Like, do you thrift? Do you go to Home Goods? Do you buy new? I think for me, if I replace something, it's because it's like done, it's dead, it's stained, it's ruined. Like, that's why I'm replacing it. I definitely was raised to think you don't have to replace something unless like its life is over, basically. So it's really hard for me with like Home Goods to think I need to replace things that are functioning completely fine. Just like something I'm mentally trying to understand. But I am excited to do a few errands. I might listen to a podcast while I'm shopping, and then I will get home and do some work a little bit later. I do try to spread out my work throughout the week. I usually leave some lighter computer work just for the weekend, so I don't feel as stressed during the week. Like, as much as I do only want to work like 4 or 5 days a week, it helps me not feel as stressed those 4 or 5 days to just have 2 days off to recover. I'd rather work a little bit every day and not be overwhelmed every single day. So just my approach for right now, and hopefully I won't be out too long and I'll enjoy this. Such a lovely day, especially just going out and browsing. I didn't buy anything that I didn't need. I actually didn't like buy anything other than what I intended to, but it's always nice to just look and see beautiful things and get inspiration. It does make me miss Indigo in Canada though. I just feel like Indigo or Shoppers were like my happy places to just go walk around and browse. But I'm not upset with Target. I think depending on the location that I go to, some are better than others. But the main thing that I went out for is getting wool to knit this vest. And I realize the wool that I got is clearly a color I like. So this is the color that I showed you in the video, but I realize as I'm wearing this sweater, it's clearly a color that I enjoy because it's very similar to this sweater. So this is actually a lighter weight wool than what the image of the vest that I want to make is, which I will show you what the vest looks like. So this is the vest. Obviously it's a bit chunkier than what I'm intending to make. This is a lighter weight, so it actually will have a bit more movement than that, but it ideally will be like that cropped length with a couple of buttons and little pockets. So I hope this will work. I am going to take these apart and wind them up in a little ball. If you're a knitter, you know you can't just start knitting with this. And then I'm going to test out the stitches to get a 2" by 2" square. So if you knit or crochet, obviously you want to know how many stitches you need to get the right width and dimension of the material or the garment that you're making. So this will give me an idea of what I will have to do to get like 2 inches so that when I make the pattern, because I don't have a pattern, but when I make it, I know how many stitches I'm going to need to go across and up and down to get the measurements that I want. And that will be my evening. I'm just gonna get off of my phone because if I'm gonna be using my hands for this, I will at least be off my phone. I might put something on. Michael and I have been watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So obviously I feel like that is something I should finish so that at least I can share my thoughts on it after. But it feels nice to have a little project, and I honestly can't remember the last thing that I knitted, so I'm really excited to get back to something that I really enjoy. But if you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe because I do post videos every Monday, and you can follow me on other social channels or on my Substack. All of those are linked in the description, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.